so grave a mistake holding a wrong constitution? Well, joining us to look at INEC as well as the new resident electoral commissioner's nominee and some other issues this morning is the resident electoral commissioner from Cross River State, Mr. Mike Igini. Good morning.
Yes, my pleasure to be here.
Well, all the talk about, the REC nominees, 8 of them out of the 13 whose tenures have expired. But, yesterday we had a guest on the program, and he did say, the Constitution, has placed their nomination in a good stead, that there is a clause in the Constitution that says you must be a member of a political party to be a REC or an INEC chief.
Well, first, thank you very much. But I think that before I answer that question, which it is very instructive to know that in all our advocacy, particularly all through the period of the military era, where some of us have to be arrested, detained, because we want democracy in our country, we have always believed that Nigeria is a great country and that democracy has assumed the status of a jus cogens. That is to say, it is not only an instrument of international and global relations. That democracy, the whole embrace of democracy, that it brings about participation and accountability in the process of human development. Because the difference between Nigeria and the rest of the world, the missing link, looking at our enormous resources, both human and natural, is leadership. And that if we get leadership right, the speed of Nigeria attaining its true potential will be like the speed of a rocket. That is where we now decide, look, it is only through democracy. And so, if you get the process right, the outcome will also be right. So, for us as managers, the focus really is not to be for us, because we need to build institutions. Because if you build true institutions, the individual that will come in, they will have no choice than to play within the institution. Now, as to the controversy about issue about who can become a REC, I think that so many things have happened. So much water has passed under the bridge, legally speaking, in terms of the new template in the Constitution, which many people are not aware of. I know that many people are saying carrying the old Constitution are very misleading indeed, and they are not aware that the 6th Senate, the last Senate, I want to tell you that, well, maybe because some of us we are fully involved in the everyday work of INEC, they have done so much work in moving the electoral process forward. The next challenge is implementation. Now, on the issue about a REC, under the old Constitution, just before the amendments, if you go to the provision of section 156, in fact, before then, you have what they call executive bodies by virtue of section 153 established. The Code of Conduct Bureau, NGC, all the bodies, INEC, all of them, they are there. Now, I don't know whether you have the old one for the purpose of Nigerians, so that you clear it here. You have your old constitution. Could you please read that so that Nigeria can see? Now, under the old constitution, it says that for you to be a member of the aforesaid body, that is the body set up under section 153, you must have the qualification of somebody who will contest for the office of the House of Representatives. That was where it stopped. Now, that provision, you remember even before Gani Fawemi died, Lisa Bakoba SAN, it was an issue when Gobadia was the chairman of the commission, when they were trying to interpret or apply this provision. Some of us, even then, we never knew we were going to come to INEC. We argued that a body that will midwife a democratic competition should not, or the individual, should not be a card-carrying, practicing member of any political party. We argued them.
But we saw it in the Constitution.
No. Now, but the point is that Nigeria should get it right once and for all. The requirement for somebody to be a candidate of a party to contest the election is that you should be a Nigerian citizen to the House of Representatives. You must be somebody of age 35 and above. You must belong to a political party and be sponsored by that political party. Now, I mean, it is scarcely necessary to say that for anybody who wants to contest the election, yes, because Section 221 says that no association other than a political party shall sponsor a candidate for elections.
But isn't that like a mischievous interpretation?
Right. Now, the state Senate is very mischievous. That's why we say you cannot carry it, you cannot import that with respect to somebody who will be in INEC as national commissioner or as a commissioner. Now, the sixth Senate has moved the nation forward in that direction. And for the benefit of that, for the Nigerian people, so that you can see it's not a question of somebody quoting it. Please, you may wish to read to the Nigerian people section 156 of the Constitution. Subsection A, 1A, 156, 1A.
He is not qualified if he's disqualified for election as a member of the House of Representatives, provided that a member of these bodies shall not be required to belong to political parties, and in the case of the Independent National Electoral Commission, he shall not be a member of a political party.
That is the position of the law as we speak today.
So they put a
go forward
to it.
To paragraph, go to the test schedule paragraph 14.
Maybe you should just continue.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Now, if you come to paragraph 14 of the test schedule, it says that a member of the commission shall be a non-partisan and a person of questionable integrity, be not less than 40 years of age in the case of a chairman, and not less than 35 years in case of a reg. But importantly, this is what Nigerians should know, so that we rest that debate. Those who are not aware of this development should go and pick the correct version of the Constitution. Now, the most important section is this. It says, be a person of questionable integrity and shall not be a member of any political party. Section 100, paragraph 14, in part 1 of the test schedule of the Constitution. So, this copy you are having here is the old version that does not reflect the vision.
Isn't that a bit problematic? Because if you look at the face of this Constitution, I mean, you have original, gazetted, amended.
No, of course, if people are just printing all these things, go to the street of Abuja everywhere, you will see
rules with amendments 20. How does a pedestrian, everyday person know the difference between which version of the Constitution is correct? People have been lambasted for not knowing their country's Constitution, and then finally you get one copy and you manage to cram it as it is, and then it turns out that what you have in your head is the wrong one.
Well, it's unfortunate. As a matter of fact, even a judicial officer 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, also called me and said, please, Mr. Igini, what is the current, which is the most current electoral act? A judge. Because if you go to the streets, you see all versions of whatever. But the National Assembly, they have moved forward. So, but basically, this is the provision right now. You must not be another, and it's very clear in the Constitution.
Mr. Igini, for the benefit of those who wish to get the current copy of the Constitution, what would you, or the most correct version of any, amended act or anything, where would you advise that they get their copies from?
No, you have the government. You are from the government gazette. You can see what the copy I am having here. All right. If you go to Abuja, not necessarily Abuja, you go to any of the core premises, you are going to find the correct version of the position of the law at the moment. So this position of section 156, the law has moved forward.
Okay. The president recommended some people, and that recommendation seemed to have thrown up some dust from the opposition and all that. What would you advise should be done now with that? Should those names be jettisoned?
You see, that question will not be fair to me.
No, you really, let's not even go there, because you're...
Yes, it will not be fair to me.
Good.
But at all times, we should be guided by the law.
Because now you just...
because the law is preferable at all times.
Quote from the Constitution.
Yes, from the Constitution. And that rests the entire matter.
That rests
the entire matter. There's no debate about that. The Constitution is clear. Section 1 says, this Constitution is supreme, and its provisions shall have binding force on all authorities and persons. But I know that very many people, including my colleagues, lawyers, they are not aware that there are changes. For instance, you look at what the Senate has also done, and I think maybe the National Assembly really have to come out. They have in their own information unit to also inform Nigerian people. Most of the things that they have done a great work. For instance, if you look at, in order to cure the situation where under Section 33 of the 2006 Electoral Act, talking about submission of a candidate where you need to give a cogent and verifiable reason, and what happened with respect to Rivers State. Under the new Electoral Act, they have also made a provision to cure that mischief. That look, for anybody to eventually participate or given a flag of a political party, he must have participated in some stages of the electoral process.
Okay, let's leave the nominations. Let's go back a little bit as we prepare for the next elections in 2012, for instance. We had issues with underage voting. We had issues with several electoral offences. What's the INEC doing about these things?
Well, we over and again have advocated that we should set up the Electoral Offences Commission. Now is the time for Nigerians, from all stakeholders. You can see INEC as a body. We want to institutionalize some of the processes that we have put in place. Some of us, we are not interested in staying in INEC. We want to put an institution in place. In fact, if we had come to office long enough, as we are now having a period of over 4 years, by the time we put a system in place that is working, we'll move out of the place. We'll move on. So that when you are out, you can be happy that you have put.
But now that you don't have a court,
no,
or so to speak,
we
special
now have a privilege.
so to speak.
We are privileged. This set of commission, we are already privileged in the sense that we are going to be the first set of people that will conduct 2 elections at the same time. Before now, a team will come, and after that election, they go away. Then another new chairman will come. So the current chairman, who has started these processes, is now going to have opportunity of conducting the next election. And so what we are doing now is to interrogate the entire processes. Some of us, from all the meetings, from the retreat at the electoral officers, which we have, as I speak to you now, already the retreat is also going on with some of the operation department, all of them, looking at the entire process we have carried out in the last election, with a view to making changes that will help to strengthen the process. Because ultimately, what we want to do is that by 2015, in fact, these elections that are coming up very shortly, the people, as we have started now, the owners of power remain the Nigerian people. We want to make people like us irrelevant. All these big name INEC commissioner, whatever, it's supposed to be the value we add to it.